Today we will study about probability distribution, part 1, introduction. Before moving into the technicalities of probability distribution, I would like to say a few words on frequency distribution, which you have studied in the last semester. So we will consider an example over here. We'll consider the marks of a students of a class, and if we classify the data in the form of a frequency distribution, you will get something like this. A table like this will be formed where the first column is given as the marks and the second column as the number of students. So from the frequency distribution, you can interpret or you can arrive at the conclusion that, for example, 12 students have obtained their mark between 20 and 40. There are 10 students who obtained their mark between 0 and 20. The total number of students or the total number of frequencies is what? 70. And I hope you all know about this table. What is this table? Yes, it is the frequency table where they show the frequency distribution of the marks that was obtained by the students. Okay, so why should you use a frequency table, or why should you construct a frequency table? Yes, they help in understanding properly the nature of the data. So is there any relationship between the frequency table and something that we are going to learn right now, that is the probability distribution? Yes, so we will move on to that. But before moving on to that, I would like to quote two more examples. So I hope you all know who a cobbler is. So what does that a cobbler do? He manufactures shoes of different sizes. But he must understand about the distribution of, see, when I say the word distribution, you should keep that word in your mind. So, and you should just imagine that a cobbler is like manufacturing shoes of different sizes for his potential customers according to the size of the customer's feet. So here he should be very much aware of what the feet size of his customer is. Otherwise, what will happen? He may be stuck within the shoe sizes, or he may be stuck with the shoe sizes that he cannot sell. Okay, and we'll go. So just keep this example in your mind so that you can connect with the probability distribution when we end up the slide. When we end this video. Another example is the example of an owner of of a particular restaurant, and there also he should be aware of the fact, like the likes and dislikes of various food items that he's going to serve in his restaurant. Or else what will happen? Yeah, again he might have heaps of food in his pantry which is not being used. So just keep these two examples in your mind. We will come to this later. Now, so it is possible to deduce mathematically what the frequency distributions of certain populations that should be in. So see, a cobbler or the restaurant owner may not be using the frequency distribution to check the how their if for example, if you take the case of a cobbler, he won't be very much be using this technical word or technical term like frequency distribution to know how his customers feed size vary, or how what size he should manufacture. Okay, but unknowingly he is using this frequency distribution over there, okay, to deduce or to arrive at a conclusion like what size he should manufacture the more. Okay, so see, he won't be drawing any tables like what a statistician do, whereas a cobbler or a layman might be like, he might just be working in his mind. So we also do that. But see, when this cobbler becomes see, just imagine that after a few years, if his business is running well and he has moved to a certain place from, for instance, if he is right now in India and if he is moving from India to some other place, but there the shoe sizes might be a bit different from what is ours, and that contributes to some other factors also that we don't have to look upon right now. So there he is going to establish a manufacturing company in a large scale. So there is where we come in, help. Like we can formulate or we can reduce a mathematical model to just help him out to find out where the frequency or where the maximum numbers occurs in which size. Okay, and we will tabulate it, and we will find by using a mathematical model, and we will find out the probability of occurrence of a particular size. Say for instance 7 is the number of shoe size that is being maximum used by a particular, see this size and all is just an example, okay, just don't take it into the serious sense. So now, so back into the example, like the 7, that size is the maximum used size. So that is the, yeah, that is the frequency that we get. And we arrive at conclusion that it has a higher probability of sales in that particular area. So that is how we help or help out the cobbler by using the probability distribution. So the technicalities we will come into a later slide or later video. So this is what the whole ideology is behind the probability distribution. Now such a distribution are expected on the basis of previous experience or theoretical considerations known as theoretical distributions or probability distribution. Now, so that is just an example. Now again I'm moving on to another example, like how you will formulate this with some mathematical equations, or and of course the probability that you have studied, we have to connect with it since it is termed as probability distribution. We have to connect the whole thing, whole example thing with the probability distribution. So for that I'm going to take another example, the coin tossing experiment, which of course you have studied from the very start, where like when you have studied statistics, when you have started studying statistics itself, you have studied this coin tossing experiment. So I hope you all know the basics of a coin tossing experiment. And let us say that when I toss a coin 2 times, the sample space is given as this, right? So S is equal to TT, TH, HT and HH. Then the following is a list of all possible outcomes and their respective probabilities. Now here I'm going to show you a table. So in this table, the first column is all about the outcome that we got when I tossed the coin 2 times and its corresponding what probabilities. Okay, now I'm not going to explain this furthermore because I hope you all know what this is, because you have studied in the last semester. Now I just want to connect this whole thing with the probability distribution ideology. So connecting the example, okay, and then I'm going to rewrite my S as 0, 1 and 2. Why I wrote 0 S as 0, 1 and 2? Because here I'm going to define an event, define my variable X, as X is a random variable, and I'm going to define it as the number of heads that turn up when I toss the coin each time. Okay, so for the first trial, it was like first trial I'm going to toss it 2 times and I get no heads. Both the times I got the tail. Then there will be an instance where I get one tail and a head. So that you can see here in the previous slide. Yeah. Then here also the outcome was what, one head and then a tail. Okay, after that it is what, head. Okay, so there were like 4 outcomes in total. So my total number of cases were 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That you have to keep in your mind. Then let's move on to the next slide. So I hope you know how I got S is equal to 0, 1, and 2 when I define the random variable X as the number of heads that turn up when I toss the coin. So when P of X is equal to 0, what is the probability? Yeah, that is when the probability of X is equal to 0. That is when no heads are turning up. So you have to be very clear about what your X is. This X is defined as the number of heads. So what is the probability? Probability of, yeah, getting TT. Right. So there I don't have any head. So that is equal to 1 by 4. From where did I get this 1 by 4? So some of you might have that question in your mind. So I hope you all know that. How did you get that? Yes. So this is only one. There was only one case like this. So the favorable number of cases divided by, again, the total number of cases were 4. So that is how I got it. Then the next case is when P of X is equal to 1. So when P of that, I haven't written over here. So when P of X is equal to 1, I get it as probability of TH, and I can also get it as HT. So there are two favorable cases over here. That is 2 divided by the total number of cases 4, which is equal to 1 by 2. And again, probability of X is equal to 2. That is the case when both time you get the head. When both the time you flip the coin, you get the head, not the tail. So that is also 1. The favorable case is 1, and that divided by the number of cases 4. So you might be, so see, here I have written something like P of X is equal to 0. Now what is that? In all the three cases I have written P of X is equal to 0, P of X is equal to 1, P of X is equal to 2. So P of something, that is I have written. That is what I have written. So what is it? That is probability of a random variable which takes certain values is equal to something. Okay, that is literally what I read. Without the help of an example, I can just generalize like that. So what is that? What do you call this P of X? This P of X can, see, when you connect with this example, it is true that P of X over here is equal to 0, is equal to 1, is equal to 2. But what is actually P of X? I would just repeat it again. Probability of a certain random variable, it can be discrete or continuous, taking certain values is equal to something which is which lies between 0 and 1. It could be 1 and it could be also 0. Okay, that I hope you all know the rules of probability. So now back to what is P of X. What is it? P of X, here this P of X is called the probability function of the random variable X. So this thing you have to keep in mind. P of X, what is P of X? It is called the probability function of a random variable X. Now you just connect the sentence with what I have written over here. Okay, and just think for a moment, what is it? Probability function of a random variable X. It's as simple as that. Now what is the connection of, so now that you have arrived at what a probability function is, now you have to check what is the connection of this probability function with your probability distribution. Therefore, the probability distribution is the outcome of different probabilities. Probability. So what is probability distribution? It is the outcome of, or it is the result of different probabilities. That is, here in this case the different probabilities of 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 1 by 4 taken by the function. Function is something like this, P of something of other random variable X. Okay, here the P of something is P of X. Okay, so I hope you can connect this sentence with whatever I have written over here. What is it? I would like to explain it again. Therefore, the probability distribution is the outcome or the result of the different probabilities, that is these things, taken by the function of the random variable x. Okay, here x can take any value. If it is discrete, it can take finite values. If it is continuous, it takes, yeah, any value in the real number. So that is there. Now just keep this in mind. And again, now this I have only written in words, right? So here I'm going to give a table. Now this table is a table for the probability distribution. So as you can see there, what is it? The probability distribution is the outcome of different probabilities. So the second column is different probabilities, which was taken by the function of the random variable x when x was given certain values. Okay. So next we will study about what is probability mass function and probability density function. So I hope you all know what probability mass function and density function is about, but I just want to refresh it. I'm not going to give any mathematical equations or formulas for this. Now just have a look at what is probability mass function. So when x is discrete, we consider we connect p of x, that is the probability function, with probability mass function. So p of x is called, at this time when x is discrete, we call p of x as probability mass function, or in some places you might have seen PMF also. Then the corresponding distribution is called discrete probability distribution. Now probability density function, it's when x is continuous, you call p of x or the probability function as probability density function, or sometimes this probability density function is also given as PDF, and its corresponding distribution is called continuous probability distribution. Now why is this probability distribution so important in statistics? So this is because just now the importance of the probability distribution. So if whatever I'm going to say, you have to keep that cobbler's example and the restaurant owner's example in your mind, and just imagine as I read out these sentences. To acquire the knowledge of the expected behavior of the certain phenomena or expected frequency distribution is of great help in real world problems. They serve as a benchmark for the observed distribution and act as a suitable substitute for the actual distributions. They provide decision makers with a logical basis of limited information or theoretical considerations. So all of these implies to only one thing, that it helps to solve the real world problems. How they solve the real world problem? In the case of cobbler's in the cobbler's case, you can clearly say that he can keep a benchmark. As they said, he can keep a benchmark. If he have the previous data with him or previous experiences, he can keep a benchmark and identify that which and take a decision over there in which size he should manufacture the shoes more, so that he don't get stuck with the unwanted shoe sizes with him. So this is see, that is a very simple example that I have quoted. So just to know, to make you understand the ideology only, how the distribution is done, how the data is distributed, only for that, only to know that we are using this probability distributions. This is the definition of a probability distribution. The probability distribution of a random variable may be the theoretical listings of outcomes and the probabilities which can be obtained from a mathematical model representing some phenomena of interest. So you just have to memorize all that what examples that I have told to you, the cobbler's example, the coin tossing experiment, etc. Both those examples, if you club in your mind and then you read this, you will get what a probability distribution is all about. Now, you might have noted a mathematical model, that phrase over here. So we will move on to that in the next video. Before that, I would like to say that so there are different types of probability distribution. Some of the probability distributions you will be studying in this semester, so I will just give their names. Binomial distribution, uniform distribution, geometric distribution, Poisson distribution, hypergeometric distribution, normal distribution, exponential, gamma, and beta distribution. So all of these distributions you will be learning very detailedly in the coming videos. Each distribution has its own characteristics, its own behavior, so that all you should learn, so that you can use all these for further analysis. Okay, so we will start with the uniform and binomial distribution in the next video. So I hope you understood the introductory part of what a probability distribution is all about and why do we need probability distribution to solve real world problems. So with that, I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you.